everyone, my name is Emily Springstro from the City of Oshkosh, joined by Andrew Prickett, a city inspector here in Oshkosh, and we're going to take you through what an inspection is going to look like for the upcoming rental inspections. So Andrew, first off, thank you for coming out today and showing us around.
Absolutely.
So what we're going to do today is show our tenants what exactly a rental inspection is going to look like. There's a lot of questions and misinformation out there about what these inspections will consist of. So we're here at an Oshkosh apartment. You're going to show us firsthand what that's going to look like. Before the inspection starts, what's really important to note is that the tenant will receive a letter in the mail to schedule this inspection at a time that works best for them, that they'll be home.
Correct.
So then when the inspector does show up at the apartment or the housing unit or any rental, you're there to identify yourselves as an official city inspector, and you will take a little bit of a look at what the outside of the building looks like.
Correct. Yep. We'll take a quick look outside to make sure there aren't any structural defects, bad-looking stairs, handrails, guardrails, safety items, things like that. And once we kind of take a look at the outside, then we'll knock on the door and proceed with the interior inspection.
Yes, and the tenant is welcome to walk along with you as
Absolutely, I'd encourage it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So let's go ahead, go inside to this Oshkosh apartment here and take a look at the first room.
That sounds great.
All right, so Andrew, we're in the first room of the unit, the living room. Show us what you'd be looking for in a room like this.
So for a room like this, the quick things to look at would be to make sure that the windows are all in good condition, no broken panes of glass. They've got screens on them. Screens are in good shape. You know, some of the things that we commonly find in the living room areas would be a lot of cords. With all the fancy modern things that everybody likes to plug in these days, we always run into a lot of extension cords being used when there's a shortage of outlets in rooms this size. So that's something that's a pretty common violation. This would be something that we might see. It's kind of a safety issue where obviously, you know, if you don't want somebody standing underneath the light fixture like this that might be on, and then all of a sudden they put their hand in the socket and get electrocuted. So that would be an example of a safety item that we might point out.
Okay, let's move on to the next room. Andrew, we're now getting into the bedroom here. What are some of the common things that inspectors are looking for at this part of the tour? Again,
we'd probably be looking at things like the condition of the windows, functionality of the screens again. It's winter time now, so we want to make sure that, you know, the heating systems are all working. This thing's rolling pretty good right now, so heat works well in this place. Other than that, you know, again, it would be, you know, a lot of times we'll run into cords being utilized all over the place, and even in bedrooms with people charging their phones and computers and everything else. So, but yeah, this one looks pretty good.
Sure. Let's move on to the main living space. Now, Andrew, as we move into the kitchen, we're walking through the main living area, and you see some buckling of not buckling, but some chipping of the plaster on the walls. Is that something that you're going to be looking out for, or something that the tenant should be concerned about?
That's not something that we're going to be focusing on as part of the program. You know, a lot of these older buildings, we see cracked plaster quite often. It's not a structural issue, so that's not something that we'd be focusing on as part of the inspection. Okay,
and you're kind of looking for all the same things as we're moving from room to room.
Yeah, it's very similar. You know, we're checking the windows. We're making sure that all the different heat sources are functioning the way that they should. Again, you know, the extension cord, checking for that as well. So again, this room is in pretty good shape. So
great. Let's move on to one of the last big rooms of the apartment, the kitchen. All right, Andrew, what are some of the things that you're looking for in the kitchen areas of an apartment?
So in the kitchen, we'd probably look and check on the stove, make sure the burners are all functioning decent. Obviously, if we detect any kind of a gas leak, that'd be a serious safety issue that we want to have resolved right away. We would probably check the kitchen sink, turn it on, make sure that it has functioning hot and cold water. We'd probably check the drains, just to verify that there isn't anything that's leaking on it that's going to end up causing damage. Other than that, again, it gets into the basics of the windows being screened. And again, with this room, it's in pretty decent shape, so we'll probably move on to the next space.
Great. Andrew, last room that we're going to take a look at here is the bathroom. So why don't you tell us some of the basic things that you're keeping an eye out for?
Sure. Again, with very similar to the kitchen, we'd be checking to make sure that the hot and cold water is functioning both on the sink and the shower. It's got a window again, so we'd want to make sure that that's functioning properly. If it's a bathroom that's equipped with a fan, we want to make sure that that's functioning as well. And again, with this room, it looks pretty good. So.
Great. So we're concluding our tour. We're on our way out the door, and we did spot the
smoke and CO detector. You bet. And that will be one thing that we'll definitely make sure we test, because this is one of those things we run into issues with all the time, and this one works. So, success.
Yes, very important part of the inspection. So.
Absolutely.
All right, well, our tour's over. We're going to head back outside and then close out our little mock inspection here.
Sounds great.
All right. All right, Andrew, that is a brief look at what an inspection of a rental unit here in Oshkosh is going to look like. How long do the inspections typically take?
Typically, I'd say you'd be looking at a half hour or less, unless we find something that's a real serious safety issue, something that might be structural. That could end up taking a little bit more time, but typically it's probably going to range between 15 and 30 minutes.
Wonderful. And something that's important to note that is a concern to a lot of tenants is you're not there to look through any personal items. You're there specifically for the items on this checklist.
Correct, yeah. And if the tenant wants to have a copy of the checklist, we're more than happy to get that to them as well. But yeah, we're not there to look at any of the personal items.
Mm-hmm. So only looking for things that can possibly make tenants unsafe. You're here to protect their rights as a tenant.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. And where can people find more information if they have a complaint about something in their apartment that they'd like to come have an inspection, or any other information for this?
So I'd say check out the city's website at www.ci.oshkosh.wi.us.
And they can just go visit the inspections page. All the information's on there. A lot of good state statute, links, codes, everything that you could ever need is right there. But there's also phone numbers if you do have additional questions.
Absolutely.
There as well.
Yep.
And I do encourage people to check out the Community Development Department's Facebook page. There's a lot of great information that they're putting on there, and you can keep up to date with all of the changes that are taking place. So,
yes.
Andrew, thank you very much for taking us through as one of our Oshkosh City inspectors. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, my pleasure.